Let's see how this goes. So this is all the breathing of candle. We're 2 minutes in now. Again, for this to be a higher high and higher low, we need to see this thing trade above these highs. See if we can get it here. See if we can get it here. I just got 35 text messages from all you guys saying you guys can't see my screen. So let's see how the next 2 minutes hold out here. Remember, this is all buyers and sellers. Right now we have more sellers than buyers. So it's all about correlation change. So with our stop would have been placed at the 46.18, below that low, the 46.17. Let's see how this trades. Come on. I'd almost like to see it come back. There you go. So it just came out. So we just took out that previous low. That's why we're starting to see a little bit of sell-off here. Notice what we have. Lower highs, lower lows now. On those wicks. Wicks are the extremes in price. For the total 5 minutes, that's the total range, the low and the high for those 5 minutes. We have 1 minute till the close here. This candle closes. We would have already been out of that trade because it broke below the previous low. Now let's talk about these candles and just kind of talk about what they did. Market opened there, traded all the way up here, came all the way down, opened there, traded up a little bit, and traded all the way down and closed below that low. This little move, this move right here is over. Now, would we short this? Answer is that's up to you and your trading plan. For me, I wouldn't short this. Risk to reward, wouldn't short it. What I'd look for, though, is I'd look for a pullback. I'd look for the same correlation to, again, change. So let's say right now we look at this current candle. You can see the low there. Let's say it puts in that low. You have lower highs and lower lows. So why having that determined pre-exit for a dollar amount is so crucial, because right here in this one candle we made $200. We ended up only making $20 now because it got stopped out. So that's why I like the idea of just chip away, a couple $100 a day, a couple $100 a trade. Look for good spots. Remember, we were looking down here, and I was looking to send this trade to the room, but I knew I couldn't manage it because we were going to be doing this call. But imagine if we would have got in here at this 45.67, would have had a stop to break even, would have followed that thing up. But now you can see lower highs, lower lows. That's why we wanted to take this trade off once it broke here, because look at all the pain we're missing out on now. Now it's continuing to sell off. So if we would have gotten in this trade and would have been profitable, you can see how this is getting exhausted, coming lower. So lower highs and lower lows now. So if we would have gotten into this trade, now this is our first sign of weakness was this candle, because each one of these candles, let's go through an example again. We'll start right here. So there's our first correlation change, higher highs, higher lows. And then we're going to take this to the next candle. Higher highs, higher lows, would have stayed in. Higher highs, equal lows. Higher highs. Remember, what's the trend? Higher highs, higher lows, uptrend, downtrend, lower highs, lower lows. You can see how this just keeps following up. And then right here, look at that. Lower low, but higher low. That doesn't necessarily mean get out, but it definitely you can see as this thing's come back. Price got up into this range again, and then it failed. So that gives you kind of the first sign of weakness as well. Higher high, higher low there. Next candle, lower high, lower low, first sign of weakness. There we go. Now we have lower high, currently lower low. So if we had caught in this trade here, it would have been long somewhere in this range, would have been bought. We would have made, let's just say we would have taken the open of that bar, 45.84, traded as high as 46.35. So that right there, that is a $500 move right there. And now you have lower highs, lower lows. Create those little boxes just like that. You see you have lower highs, lower lows. What we would look for is we would look for that relationship to change. So we've got 2 more minutes till this candle finishes. Now the other thing is, and we'll cover this in some later training, but then the next crucial thing is where does this market close in relationship to the range? So let's delete this box for a second, and this will be kind of the next thing we cover. But you can see right now, so if that's our low and that's our high, relative to that range, we're trading right now at the lows of that box. So the first sign of a transition is you'll start to see, like back up in here, see where it transitions, see where it, just do this. Let's delete this line here. Look at where that closed in relationship to the box, the midpoint of the box. Now you can start to see this thing really push down. There's the low. You can see, look at where we're currently trading in relationship to that box. We're trading near the lows of that box. So this is going to keep going lower. So here you go. Here's 5 minutes. We're going to see how this candle trades in relationship to the previous box. So let's say it stays right where it's at, right here. That would be the box. Now again, we still have 5 minutes to see how this thing trades out. But what we care about is its interaction to this box. If this box goes lower, then this trend is still intact. And that's what we look for. That's what we look for. Now, again, the idea is we need to see lower highs and lower lows for that confirmation. So that'll save you guys a ton of just getting whipsawed around. And the example is you would not have gotten short here. You would not have gotten short here. You would not have gotten short here, but you would have gotten short there. Lower highs, lower lows. Up through here, you didn't have any of that. Now, what we're looking for now for this thing to trade back to the upside is we want to see that correlation change. So if you see, here's that equal low. And again, we're only 1 minute in, so there's still a lot of trading left for the next 4 minutes. But there's our current range. Trading at the midpoint of the box, or maybe slightly higher than the midpoint, but we're still lower high equal low. So we want to see that correlation change. We want higher highs and higher lows, remember? Right through here. Like we had here, higher highs, higher lows, trade at the highs of current and previous. That's what we want to see. This here, that's nothing. That's just breathing of the candle. Where are we currently trading in relationship to the previous little box? We're trading near the lows. Current price is trading near the lows of the current box. This is going to push lower. So when you guys hear Dave talk about just thousands upon thousands upon thousands of trades all throughout the day, You can see where this was the first sign of weakness. Could you have taken this trade short, 46.17? Currently trading here, you'd have made 500 here and 200 there. 700 bucks in 45 minutes. Is there appetite for potential? Absolutely. But you guys aren't there yet. You can see now we pushed the low. There you go. So what we care about, first thing we'll look at is we're going to look at the correlation of where this market closes in relationship to the 5 minutes. So we're going to wait another 5 minutes here, see where it goes. Let's say it closes right here, right where it was. Look at that. That would be a midpoint close on this current candle. Next candle, what we need to see is higher low, higher high, trade above the highs of previous and current. So I'm going to show you guys how we would possibly build a trade around that here in just a second. So let's say we think this thing's going to turn around and start going higher. So this, see how this is impulsing and it traded near the lows there? So let's go back to this candle just so you guys can see it. There we go. So you can see where this closes near the low, this candle here, this box here. Where are we trading in relationship to the current previous boxes? We're trading, right now we're near the lows. All right, put this little, well, we're trading right to midpoint right now. So we'll see how this candle changes in the next 1 minute. Go ahead and click off this, stop showing chart. Hopefully that's better. Could possibly see a trade here back to the upside. Not going to know for another minute, see how this candle closes. There we go, traded near the low. So what we need to see have happen, and I'm just going to show you guys, we're going to build a trade real quick. Let's go here, let's go properties. Show you one of the ways that we look to build trades. Because if I know that that's my box, right, let's just hypothetically say that's my box. We want to have this to where it shows. It shows trades. Good, I'm going to send a trade. Let's see. There we go. You can see where we got in on that trade and where we got stopped out. We were right there. So what we think, we think this is going higher. We think this is a good little pullback here. So we are going to send a trade to the room. Now we have systems that do this, but I'm just going to show you guys. But this is my box. Currently trading right here. What do I need to see? Higher low, so I got to wait for the back half of this candle, but I need to see it close above this high. So I would put a trade, and we're going to put a trade here at 46.07. So we're going to get one ready here. We're going to go crude. We're going to do a buy stop, 46.07. Buy. Ah, dang it. I meant to click buy stop. Okay, darn it. I'm going to see if this thing will bounce up a little bit, just cover it. We actually just bought that. We're long in the room. Oh goodness, we're down 20 bucks. We're not confirmed yet that this thing is going to turn. So what I meant to do is put it to where it would get us into the trade. This thing was up here. But we're going to try to see if this thing can just get us back above break even and possibly put a stop at break even. But technically, we'd want to see it as it's coming down. See, right now we have an equal low. We want to see what happens at this low here. We don't want this to go lower than 46.05 to 45.95. Not what we want. Yep, see, there you go. We don't want that. Because now what do we have? We have lower highs and lower lows. Not what we want. Don't have a turn yet. This is why I need to be, if I'm going to trade, I need to focus on trading here. So currently 95, our entry was 98, we're down 30 bucks. So hopefully we can see it right here. But lower high, lower low, that's not what we want to see. We want to see that correlation relationship change. So we're going to put our boxes for all of it for the last couple here so we can see it. The last two candles. So you can see that there. That's our current price and relationship. Got lower highs and lower lows on our boxes. We don't want that. We want to see higher highs and higher lows in our boxes. Currently have an entry price, $45.98. I don't know if this is going to turn yet, but I'm not necessarily, I don't think this is necessarily a bad trade. Could it go lower? Absolutely. Not a bad trade, though. We're up for the day, so it's not, taking a little bit of a risk is not big of a deal. Could get a turn, though. See what happens. 1 minute left till this candle closes, and then we're really going to be curious to see how the next candle opens. That's going to be our crucial candle. Down 20 bucks. Who cares? 40 bucks. Got 1 minute. Now, if this thing were to close the next candle, we'd want to see, we're going to see this tick over and create a new candle here. 46.01 would be, as long as we kept in a higher low, 46.01 would be our long trade. That's what we'd be looking for. Now, this candle here, we need to see a higher low forming. We can't see it take out this low. We need to see a higher low forming. Don't like that. Now, remember the first half to 5 minutes versus the back half to 5 minutes, what we care about really is the back half. So let's pull this down. Let's just say this were to end right here. You can see how you got lower highs and a higher low. So we want to start seeing that correlation change here. And this was an accidental trade. Now, why am I still in it? Because I'm not necessarily bearish yet. We could see this thing turn. We don't have enough information yet. There we go. Now, where do we need to see this candle go? You can see how we've got, that's our current box. We need to see this thing. We need to see this put in a higher box like that. That's what we need to see it do. Let's see what we get here. Remember, higher highs, higher lows, that's the trick. Currently we have lower high and higher low. Yeah, see a big push there. We don't like that. That's why it's important to pay attention to those correlation changes. Eventually somebody's going to win this battle that we're seeing here. Notice how they're starting to trade within themselves. We have a word for that. We call that compression. So eventually this thing's going to break out one direction or another. We don't know yet, though. Could break lower. I mean, that's what we're seeing. The current trend is we definitely have sellers in control here, not buyers. We keep our eye on it. Not risking a ton. We're only down 40 bucks. So we're not risking a ton of money at this point. Got 3 minutes here. Back half the candle is going to start forming here in a minute. That's really going to be the crucial candle here. Nope, don't like it. See how we put in a lower low there? See how we're starting to see that snap lower? You want to see that correlation ship change. See how it's really starting to push? Get stopped out in just a second. Keep our eye on it here. See how the back half of this candle ends? Notice lower highs, lower lows, right? You guys see it. See where this candle ends? One minute till the close. This candle, see where it ends. Big tail. This right here is actually a good sign for this thing to go higher. We still don't like it because that's obviously a big, lower high, lower low, like we don't like. But this thing breaks back above here, we really like it. So we'll take this next box. There's our current low. There's our current high. Still don't have that change that we're looking for. We got to start looking for that correlation change in price. But we had some buyers stepping in here. All these guys that bought back in here started stepping back in through here in the back half of that trade. So let's see what they do here. Kind of nice to be able to see it in real time, actually working out, being in a trade. You guys notice, I really don't care. It's not that big of a deal. I know that I can make it back. Okay, so there is a low and high. This is that correlation ship change. Remember we saw it here. Now we're starting to see that correlation ship change here. We need to see this current candle break above these highs. That's where we need to see this go, because that's going to be our first. It's going to be our first transition here. Got to see it keep going higher though. Higher low, we got to see a higher high. So we got to see this put in a higher high. We got to see this thing close above the highs of this candle for this to be confirmation. We don't have that yet. Remember, by definition, higher highs, higher lows. Just because we had this thing pop up and trade within that candle doesn't mean anything. We got 3 minutes left for this candle to form. So we need to see it take above this high, this 98. That's going to be crucial here. One, that's where we got in, but that's also where our price is for the previous high. Got to see it close above that level. Got some fighting going on in there. Now, what they're referring to whenever you see that, where you're seeing the kind of bounce back and forth, they call that, it's a doji. You got buyers and sellers fighting back and forth. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Right now, buyers are in control. Now, sellers step in. Now, buyers are in control. Sellers step in. That's what's causing that breathing back and forth. Eventually, what happens is that some people stop selling and some people stop buying. So it causes that price fluctuation. There we go. So that's what we want to see. Now, what you guys saw earlier in the room is we took a losing trade and we rode that out to a winning trade, and probably going to go higher, but at the end of the day, taking a winning trade, take a losing trade back to a winning trade, you've not earned the right to trade. See, actually, we got to see if we can get this back up there again. I'm sitting here explaining rather than pushing buttons. I should have taken that trade off. Even though we have a higher low, we need to see this thing close above this high. Thing's got to close above 98. Truth is, if this thing gives us another little impulse higher, I'm taking the trade off. We get this thing back above 98, back into that zone. I'm going to take the trade off. We're going to take our profits and run. See, one little push here. There we go. There we go. Made some money. You guys saw me do it? So we got in at 98. We got out at 02. We made 40 bucks. But you guys can see the transition. Do you guys see the transition relationship? So the idea was I shouldn't have gotten in this candle. This is the candle I should have gotten in above this high. So I should have basically gotten in at our entry, basically that 98. And the whole time we would have been pretty much profitable, right? We're trading those threes right now. But our entry would have been 98, which is above the previous candle high. Once we had a close with a higher low, that would be our trade. Now, why did I get out? Because I took $200 heat on that trade. I'd rather make 40 bucks. Rather make 40 bucks.